What's up? How's everybody doing? We are back. Welcome to the Mind of Prix. So, sorry about the delay, man. I want to get a lot more consistent in dropping these blogs and talking about different things. And I want to start kind of keeping up a little bit more with some of the current events and tying them to music just so you understand what's going on. And letting you know some of my thoughts. So, I'm a little bit behind. So, I'm going to touch on something that, was behind and kind of just try to catch up. So what I want to talk about is the New Edition biopic. So if you saw the New Edition biopic, there was a hot topic that came from the biopic was them going on tour and how they only made $1.87. So what I want to do is briefly talk about really quick from a music standpoint, how something like that is very much so possible. The reality of the situation is that as much money as people think was stolen from them was not stolen from them, and in all actuality, they probably spent a lot of that money, and I'm going to break down how. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, let's get it. So I do have some notes here, so if you see me looking back and forth, I'm just going to be referring to my notes here because it's actually a lot of math and the technicalities of what can happen. All right, so some of the things that I'm going to point out are actual facts from the movie, and I use facts from the movie combined with real life situations and things that I know of the music industry, and then I use that to tie that down. All right, so the actual tour that they went on, the original Candy Girl tour, lasted 6 months. So I compared that to a tour that had already occurred. A similar tour that lasted about as long was the Rihanna Anti-Tour. Now, in that tour, Rihanna did 75 shows. Now, keep in mind with the New Edition, in that instance, these were a lot of club dates. They weren't big enough to do arenas. Now, in Rihanna's tour, over those 6 months, she was able to pull off 75 shows. A lot of these shows, you have a lot of weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, combined with, maybe 1 or 2 weekdays. So what I did was now I looked up an artist who it was in a similar space as New Edition. Basically, I looked up an artist who was in the beginning stages of their career and had a song go #1, i.e. how New Edition did with Candy Girl in the movie. So the artist I compared them to was Drum. So Drum had the huge Broccoli record with Lil Yachty. So based on Drum's show price, at his peak, he got up to about $20,000 a show. Now, I used a money converter to compare 1981 at the time that they were in to now to come up with my numbers. So with $20,000, what that would be in 1981, that would be $7,500 that they were getting per show. So that was the number we went with. Now, at at 75 shows at $20,000, that would be $1.5 million that they approximately grossed on the road. First and foremost, one thing about music is that your radio shows you do not get paid for. So what we did was we accounted for 25 of these shows being radio and promo shows. Now that is key because a promo show, even though it's a promo show, it still has a cost to it, even though you're not making any money on the show. So give you an example, you may bring a band with you. That band still has to be paid, even though the show is promo. So that could, in theory, cost you money. So that could offset your cost. So with that being said, they actually had 50 paid performances. 50 of the 75 paid performances at $20,000 a pop, which means I actually have them estimated to have grossed $1 million on that Candy Girl tour. By today's standard, $1 million. Now, look at living expenses. When you travel and you're a mainstream artist, the first thing they do is they put you in a pretty good hotel. Most artists are going to stay in a standard 3.5 star or better hotel. So a 3.5 star hotel would be something like a Embassy Suite. So I looked up a standard Embassy Suite on a weekend in Jacksonville. That would be $169 per night plus taxes. Let's simply say $180. Now, the first thing we need to do is look at how many people we have in their entourage. I counted 19 people. If you remember in the movie, they had an actual tour bus, so they had a number of people. Let's recap the people that could be. We had 5 band members, 5 people in New Edition. We had Brooke, the choreographer and dancer. That's 6. There was 2 security guards in the movie, so that's 8. You have a bus driver. That's 9. They had a wardrobe, so you have a wardrobe person that has to go on there to any things that happen with their uniforms, etc. So that's 9. You had the band. So you have a standard band. The standard band is at least 4 people. You know, a guitarist, a bass player, your drummer, etc. So band, 4 people. They had a DJ as well. They also had their manager, the white guy, and then they had a set. Remember, they had a whole set, so they had to have stagehands to break that down and set that up. So we're going to say they had at least 3 stagehand people. That's 19 people. Now, if you remember in the movie, all the boys, they were either staying in suites or they all each had their own room. So that's 5 rooms. Let's say the security guard shared a room. That's 6 rooms. Then you had the bus driver and the wardrobe. That's 7. You had Brooke and the manager. So let's say that's 8 rooms. You had the musicians. Let's say they're 2 to a room. So that's 10. Then you had the stagehands. There was 3 of them. So let's say there's 2 in one room. That and the DJ in another. So it was at 11, 12. On my paper, I have 13 rooms. Okay. So I have 13 rooms once I broke it down. So we had 5 band members. That's 5 rooms. Brooke, that's 6. The 2 security guards share a room. Let's say 7. You have the bus driver and the wardrobe person. That's 8. You had 4 musicians in the band, so that's 2 rooms. So that's 10. You have the stagehands, which was 3 of them. So that's 2 in one room. And then the last stagehand and the DJ, that's 12. And then you had the manager, 13 rooms. Now, they were on the road for 6 months. So let's keep the math easy. 30 days a piece. That's 180 days that you're on the road. So in those 180 days at $180 a piece, you've spent approximately $421,200 in lodging alone. Boom. You're already down to $578,800. Now, if you remember in the movie, there was a reference made to the phone calls. So here's what's tricky about the phone calls. I looked up an AT&T's rate in 1980. And in 1980, a 5-minute phone call during a weekday long distance was $2.17 per 5 minutes, which would amount to approximately $7 by today's standards, based on the time calculator. Now, with that being said, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to assume each boy talked to their mom for 10 minutes a day. Is that realistic? It seems realistic. When you don't have a cell phone or anything, and these are 9, 10, 11-year-olds, 10 minutes is fair. Now, on top of that, come to find out, they were talking to girls as well. Let's say they called 1 female a day. So what you have is 5 guys spending $21 in phone bills over the course of 180 days. That would make their phone bill, just the group, $18,900. Now, for the rest of the people, the other 14 people who are on the road with them, we're going to assume they're not calling girls, but they're only making 10-minute phone calls to wife, spouse, kids, etc. And we're going to assume they did all their calls in 10 minutes as well. Mind you, these are all adults, managers as well. So these people have kids and everything else. So we're going to assume the other 14 people only made 10 minutes worth of phone calls. That would be 14 people at $14 a day over the course of 180 days. And their phone bill would be $35,280. Now, let's go into a food per diem. Standard food per diem by today's rate in music is $35 per day. So, mind you, all of this is recoupable. So, $35 a day times 19 people times 180 days gives you a food bill of $119,700 per day, over the course of this 6 months that they spent. So now, once you add all of that up, they are now down to $404,920 that they have left because they've spent approximately $600,000 of it on the road. Now, a tour bus. You looked up a standard tour bus. The rate for a tour bus for that size that they had, a standard tour bus, is approximately $1,100 a day, which includes the gas. $1,100 a day over 180 days will cost $198,000 to take a tour bus just like the one that they had on the movie on the road for 6 months. They are down to $206,920. Now, their suits. We're going to say that the only people that had on suits was the 5 band members. The 5 members of New Edition, the 4 band members, and the DJ. And I know DJs don't always wear suits or nothing like that, but we're keeping the math easy here. We're going to say that, and we're going to say they all had 2 suits. 2 suits. 2 suits the last 6 months. Boys of that size. I'm being generous here. Looked up an average tuxedo price, $65. So, 10 suits, 10 people, 5 band members, 4 band members, 1 DJ, New Edition, 5 people, 10 people, 2 suits. That's 10 times $65. That's $6,500 in wardrobe. Boom. Security. An armed security guard at today's rate will cost you $150 per day. They had 2 security guards, 180 days, $54,000 spent in security. Your DJ. You're paying your DJ. We're going to say you paid your DJ an average rate of $75 per show. You did 75 shows. Now remember what I told you before. Even the shows that are promos, so they're not getting paid, they still have to pay them for being on the road. Because they have nothing to do with whether the show was paid or not. So, $75, 75 shows, your DJ got made $5,625. Boom. Your band, same rate as DJ, $75. There's 4 of them. 75 shows. Your band costs you $22,500 to take on the road. Your wardrobe, your stage set. There was 3 of them. Say you give them $50 a day. Or just $50. Yeah, just $50 a day. Per show, $50 a show. 3 of them times 75, $2,250. You deduct all of that from what they grossed on the show, and that would take your number down to $116,000, $116,045. That's your number. Now, realistically, if the label stole anything from them, it's somewhere in that $116,000, and then it's not this high number that people think that was actually taken from them. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Marketing promo costs to promote the tour are recoupable. So, give you an example, if the label did any kind of commercials, radio ads, any type of additional costs, CDs, promo items, all of these things come out of this number. So realistically, in a best case scenario, each boy, had there not been any other expenses, would have each walked away with $23,209 on the high end. And the reality is, they could have actually made $1.79. It's very possible. It is very possible. And I won't make this go too long, but I just wanted to cover those numbers with you briefly to tell you. And that, my friends, is how you go on tour and come home with $1.87.
Backdoor music. Come on. you know who I came with. I roll with the same clique. Bad bitches, yeah, you know.